Since this is going to be kind of a leftover, simple, easy to make kind of chili, you can pretty much use any kind of leftover meat you have. You can use, it works good with leftover brisket. You can actually use it with, pulled pork if you wanted to. But I'm going to happen to do it with a leftover chuck roast. It's already cooked. All I'm going to have to do is chop it up. And first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to chop up my vegetables first. And I'm going to use, it's going to be really simple, nothing exotic. Just so happened that the different colored peppers were on sale this week at Sprouts. So I had my wife get a couple of different colors. So we're going to use green, yellow, orange, red, and then an onion. And that's pretty much it as far as vegetables go. I'm going to use a little bit of fresh garlic too, I guess. But as far as seasoning goes, I'm going to keep it real simple, and everything else is going to come out of cans. So I'm going to have a couple cans of Rotel. I'm going to put beans in this chili. So unlike some of the Texas guys, where they fight against beans, I'm going to do a can of kidney beans and a can of black beans. So I have two different kinds of beans. Some extra tomato, diced tomato. Simple seasonings today. It's going to be chili powder, cayenne pepper, some a little bit more granulated garlic, salt, maybe some regular pepper, and cumin. So just make sure you write that recipe down, follow it. I'll be back. I'm not going to show you guys when I'm chopping up these vegetables. We're going to pretty much, when we take it out on the grill, everything's going to be chopped up and ready to go. And we're just going to throw it all in the pot and cook it on the Kamado Joe Classic 2 for, hour or so. It won't take very long at all. All right, I didn't want to bore you with chopping up all the vegetables in front of you, but what I wanted to show you was I didn't use all of every pepper, and I'm not using a whole onion. We only got about 2.5 pounds of the chuck roast, so we're not making a big, huge pot of chili. So what I did, I'm taking about a quarter of each pepper, and this is a rather decent sized onion. I'm taking about half. I might cut up just a little bit more onion, but we're not using a whole bunch of vegetables, but just kind of wanted to show you that. And they don't have to be cut up perfect since it's going to be in a chili. Anything that's in a chili or a stew, you really don't need to dice, to make it look really good. Just make sure you get it. You don't want it, big, huge chunks and little tiny pieces. So try to make it as uniform as possible. So you just use a nice little chopper like this. Just make sure they're all similar in size. All right, I got all my vegetables all chopped up and ready to go. And I'm gonna keep them all in this one bowl. And like I said, when we get them on the grill, we're gonna sweat them down first before we add the meat, because the meat's already cooked. Once we get the meat in there, we're gonna let that mix in with the vegetables a little bit, and then we'll start adding our canned stuff in. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut up, and we're gonna cut this up into smaller chunks because this is chili. So I'm gonna kind of make it into, little chunks like this, kind of like you would with brisket chili. I don't want it to be ground beef size, but I just do want it to be smaller. So smaller than a beef stew, just so that we can have a nice texture to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it up into little cubes, and then we're going to get ready to throw everything on the grill in a few. I'll be back. All right, my Kamado Joe is sitting right at almost 300 degrees, which is kind of right where I want it. I don't want it to get too hot. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and put I have my accessory rack in there, so you can tell, and I got it in the highest position. And I got my cast iron stock pot that I'm going to go ahead and use, my Dutch oven. And I'm going to go ahead and let that warm up a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom. That way I'll know when it's warm enough to put my veggies in. We can have a little bit of smoke to our chili. So I'm going to let that come up to temp a little bit more. Get ready to get our vegetables going. I'll be back. Alright guys, I went ahead and let that sit till it got up to about 250 and made sure that my oil was ready. I went ahead and tossed in a couple of onions to see if they started to fry in the oil that was already in there, and they started to fry pretty quick. So I added just a little bit more oil, and then I tossed my veggies in, my onions, peppers, and I went ahead and scraped the bowl clean, got everything in there. I want to make sure I get all the bits in there, and then pretty much just toss it up until we come back and check it in a couple minutes to see if it's sweating down good. So all right, about 10 minutes, I'll be back to check on it. Guys, I got my vents turned down pretty much all the way now, so I want this to start cooling down because it's already got these all sweated down really good. The meat's heated up really well and incorporated into the seasonings and the beef stock's in there. So now I'm going to add, I got 2 cans of Rotel, 1 can of regular diced tomatoes, a can of red kidney beans, and a can of black beans. And that's all just going to go right in the mixture. We're going to mix it up really good with that meat and vegetables. Look how that's looking right there. Smells good. And now we're just going to let this cook down some. I'm going to, like I said, I cranked the vents down on the grill. So this should be cooling down to around 225 to 250. And we're just going to let it sit here and simmer and cook and meld together. And we'll leave it here for about half hour or so. Then we'll come back to check on it and check our seasonings. All the chili's done. Smells fantastic. And it thickened up just nice. Don't need to add anything else to it. I went ahead and made myself a bowl with all the accompaniments that I like. I put a little cheese, put it over some rice, a little sour cream, some cornbread muffins we're going to eat with it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a taste so we can go eat our dinner. But it smells awesome. And it's been kind of cold down here in Florida, so we really needed this chili. I think I nailed the spices pretty good. It's got a little kick to it, not too bad. And thickness is just right. I know the big controversy about beans and chili, but I like beans and chili, and I actually like different kinds of beans in there. So the black beans and the red kidney beans kind of go well together. All right, guys, well, that's it. Try making some chili with some leftover brisket or leftover chuck roast that you sous vide or cooked any other way. Try it on the Kamado Joe if you have one. If not, try it out on the grill anyway. Thanks for watching.